welcome back to Meg's Minutes. Today I'm actually going to revisit a video that I actually made 3 years ago. 3 years ago I bought a loft bed from Ikea and decided that I was going to put it together by myself because it was a Christmas gift to one of my children. This loft bed was a nice height, had a super nice, huge desk to go underneath it, and it saved space as my 3 children were actually sharing a room at that particular time. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. They need desk space and, it's just, a nice little area underneath the loft. So I bought it and tried to put it together myself. And I did so, but it was very, very difficult. And if you want to go back and watch that review of the video from the loft bed, I will put that here. Anyway, my review is actually on how the bed has been holding up and some tips and tricks. First and foremost, I thought it was a good quality bed for the money that I actually paid for it. I think I paid $200 for the bed, and it held up through 2 separate moves. Now, if you are going to take it apart and move it like I did, there's a couple of things that I suggest that you do so that you don't run into the same issues that I had. First and foremost, you want to make sure that you keep all the little pieces in a little spare baggie like this. That way, as you can see, there are a ton of little pieces that unfortunately can easily get lost. And you don't want to lose these because putting it back together would be almost impossible then, because there are certain parts that you do actually need. The next thing that I suggest is, after you obviously have them all in a bag, in order so that I don't actually lose this bag, I tape the bag to one of the legs of the actual, one of the legs of the bedposts. So therefore it doesn't get lost and everything's contained. Now I will say, when you take these out, these little small pieces, that these are integral to holding the bed together and holding the loft part of the bed up. And unfortunately, when we're unscrewing these, sometimes they can fall, instead of coming out, they can fall in and then all the way down to the bottom. So getting it out is impossible unless you have like a super huge, strong magnet to, of course, get it and follow it all the way up and back through the hole. But even getting it back through the hole is difficult. So I lost, I think, one of these the first go round and another one the second go round. And if you don't have these, then it's hard to actually secure the bedposts to each other. So you want to make sure you keep up with these. The bed, and these little small things get lost too. So these go in one end and these would go in another end. But when you are putting the bed back together for the first time, if you're anything like me, you don't have the instructions. Like, it was 2 years after I had put the bed together by myself the very first time. So I didn't have the instructions. Luckily, we live in an age of internet access to everything. So you can easily just look up the instructions. Easily, I say. I didn't look up the instructions, but I know I've looked up instructions for other things that I didn't have. So I'm pretty sure they probably have instructions on how to put the bed back together. So putting it back together was somewhat of a headache because I didn't have the instructions, but I remembered how everything was taken down. So it was less than a day from when I took it down and then when I put it back up in the new house. So putting it back together is a pain. Again, you want to make sure that you have somebody with you to help you while you're putting it back together. It's really a 2-person job that I kind of just made myself do on my own more than once. Anyway, overall, for having 3 kids, hanging on it, swinging on it, putting stuff on it, I actually think that the bed held up very, very well. And like durability wise, it was actually great. My kids did not break the desk. The desk part is actually very, very heavy. It's one full piece. I'll insert a picture so you guys can see, but it's one full piece, and it can be very heavy. But because it's one piece and so heavy, it is also actually very sturdy. The ladder held up just fine, and the only downside that I really didn't like about this particular bed, besides having to put it back together, was it became extremely squeaky as time went on. So you shake the bed and it squeaked, and you didn't have to shake it very hard. So what that meant was every time my daughter got in the bed, it would squeak as she's going up. So squeaky, 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 squeaky. And of course, it's not just irritating, but of course it's actually very loud and can wake her sisters up. So I opted to go ahead and purchase another bed for her room for the new house. I have not actually gotten the bed or put it together, but I will make sure that I actually film it when I do put it together so I can give a review and you guys can kind of see how that bed actually holds up too. Long story short, durability, would I recommend the Ikea loft bed? 100%. Does it move houses easily? No, it does not. The pieces are big, they can get lost, they can drop down in there. It's not that great. However, like I said, durability wise, it's really, really good. If you have boys and they're tough, it definitely would withstand the wear and tear that kids would put on it. So if we're talking out of 5 stars, I would give it a 4.5, 4.75 out of 5. If you liked my review, you got anything out of it, I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button, and please like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.